Oklahoma City Thunder finished the season 57-25 and #1 in the Western Conference. For a team with its core players aged 25 and under, what's next for this young Thunder team?
You know what? I think that I like the fact that they're young, right? I think the oldest person on the team may be Gordon Hayward. Maybe, and so I like the fact that they're young. And matter of fact, I heard a stat where they're like the youngest team ever in the postseason, the youngest team to be ever in the postseason, which was really interesting. I think that one of the things that they really need to focus on for next season and what kind of got them hemmed up in round 2 was rebounding. They need to work on rebounding more. Now, it may not be their primary focus, according to Sam Presti in his end of year discussion. He talked about rebounding, and they have a lot of things they need to work on. And rebounding may not be at the top of the list, but I think it should be. They need to make sure that they rebound more, because I think that could have been the difference in round 2. And so, that's one thing that I have on my list that I want to see them work on and do better at rebounding for a 25-day season.
It's so funny you mentioned Gordon Hayward because General Manager Sam Presti was like, yeah, I misread that one. In other words, oops. Gordon Hayward had no business on this team this year, and I can guarantee you he will not be for next season. They really didn't need him.
He talked his way right out of that. He talked his way out of that. He couldn't even play the role of what the other veterans do. I mean, all you have to do is watch what, and I'm going to always go back to this because this is becoming noun. Udonis Haslem. Just done Udonis Haslem. He could have even done a more others, because the one on Dallas and the one with the Mavs. What they do? They just be standing around. They just root on, and you can still get your paper, right? I guess he thought he was going to come in and be the difference maker. Now, when that young core of the OKC Thunder was already clicking on all cylinders, and they had to add Chet Holmgren to the mix. No, what you thought you was going to do?
Exactly.
So I do agree that he will not be on the roster for next season. They do need to get, offload him. And I don't know how they're going to do it. It'll be a trade, waive, be it a decision he makes, but he needs to be offloaded for sure. Nobody want that energy next season. And he may have not even been that positive while he was there, because he thought he probably had a bigger role. He should have had a bigger role. So beat it, Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, and at $30 million, no, I'd let him fall off the books. But yeah, you're right. Rebounding was one of their Achilles heels for the season. I mean, the first round when they beat OKC beat the Pels 4-0, it wasn't really a big deal. But when they faced Dallas with those big boys, right, they just could not get the boards, and it made me wonder if maybe they should have kept Steven Adams. I mean, they definitely need to get bigger. One of the things I see, and I think we talked about this, and everybody's really talking about this. I mean, Chet Holmgren just need to, get more size, right? He need to get in a weight room this offseason. He has to be a more interior presence for the OKC Thunder if they're talking about, really having another successful season and going deep into the playoffs. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? There is a free agency free agency list on NBA.com. And so I said, let me check and see who's available, at that position. Because I do agree, they did need a Steven Adams type presence coming off the bench. I am saying that Holmgren should not be the starter. I believe he should be the starter because I believe he is the future, and in that role for the Thunder. However, if that's someone like Steven Adams coming off the bench in those critical moments where, shit was getting handled, if you will, I think it would have been really, really nice. So I said, let me see what they have. Jonas Valanciunas. He's a free agent. I mean, he got this kind of stature. I don't know about skill level, but the stature, that Steven Adams have. So maybe that's somebody they may want to pick up. Also on the list was Nick Claxton. I said, well, he's young. If they want to keep it the same young narrative, maybe they can, reach out to the Nets and see if they can, acquire him. And also saw that they had Mo Bamba. Now, Mo Bamba, I don't know why the 76ers don't use him more. So perhaps you got the youth, he can probably mesh really well with the Thunder. And why not even consider him? So there's people out there, there's players out there that the Thunder can consider, provided they have the assets. They got all draft picks. So just give them away, because I don't think they should break up the core at this point. So I think what we will experience for next season is that they'll continue the core that they have by adding a piece. Speaking of core, Josh Giddey, where are you going to be next season? I don't know. I'm not sold on Josh Giddey being a part of the Thunder next season.
No, I mean, but the thing is, he's only 21 years old, and Sam Presti seems to have a lot of faith in him. But because Coach Mark Dagnall went away from Josh Giddey in the playoffs and went with Isaiah Joe, their young rookie, I think he was more impressed with him. And maybe they can get behind Isaiah Joe, add another shooting guard. I also think they need to add another point guard. OKC for when Shai Gilgeous, may have an injury or two. They need somebody else at that position as well. But Josh Giddey, maybe his off the court stuff played an impact.
Yeah.
But
yeah, maybe it did. I thought about that as well. And so if they wanted to run it back with Josh Giddey one more season, I can accept that as well. Because now that the investigation is closed with the NBA, he can get his mind back in the game, back on track. And because he's a force during the regular season, he just fizzled in the postseason. And that's when we need you to really be a force. You can't fizzle in the postseason. But I understand he has some things going on in his mind. So if they don't trade him and they decide to keep him on the roster, hopefully for the 2025 season, when the Oklahoma City Thunder see the playoffs again, because I believe they will, then maybe he'll have a better impact to help them go further than round 2. So,
okay. So I think it's a foregone conclusion that SGA, Chet, and Jalen Williams, they are untouchable. But you know what, though? Lou Dort's name is starting to float around. We know Lou Dort is a defensive genius, right? He's always going to guard the other team's best player on the perimeter. Yeah. He's even increased his shooting from the 3-point line. He was pretty knocked down this season. So Lou Dort. Yeah. They're talking about Lou Dort right now. I heard you mentioned a couple of names, and I heard those names too. But I've heard Tobias Harris. No, I've heard Klay Thompson. I've heard Cam Johnson, Isaiah Stewart, and Lauri Markkanen. So we're talking about getting rid of Lou Dort. I don't think they should get rid of Lou Dort, but if they can package Lou Dort up, because I think they do need a veteran presence, someone who's actually going to not just sit on the bench and talk to the players, but, chip in, 15, 20 points a game. You're talking about Lauri Markkanen, Isaiah Stewart, and Cam Johnson. They can definitely do that. Cam Johnson, I wouldn't say he's a vet. Or Isaiah, but Lauri Markkanen, at a high price, though.
I don't think they should get rid of Lou Dort. Because if they do that, then they're going to lose defense. The way Lou Dort locked down Luka, he was the only one that had Luka a little shook. I mean, Luka gonna still do his thing, but if you watch that series, he had him a little shook. He fumbled often with Lou Dort defending him. So I think if they do that, so now you got to work on rebound, and then you're gonna lose your defensive juggernaut in Lou Dort. That's a move. But again, I think if they want to leverage anybody, it should be Josh Giddey. I would retain Lou Dort on my roster and figure out a way to leverage Josh Giddey. All I know his stock is falling, Yeah, because I can tell you right now, Lou Dort, people gonna have to pay for him if they watch his performance postseason. He's gonna get some money. So, but I don't want him off the team. I want them to run him back one more time with Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jalen Williams. I really like that.
Yeah, speaking of Jalen Williams, his younger brother Cody is available in the 2024 draft. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's skilled or not. I don't watch Arizona play in collegiate basketball, but I just don't want it to be another Giannis Thanasis situation in OKC. Like if Cody Williams can play, okay, fine, but let's just not bring him on because he's Jalen Williams, his young brother.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. There has to be some type of silent animosity towards Giannis's brother on the Bucks, because people are probably like, "Why he's taking up a roster spot?"
Right.
Is your brother? I don't think that. Now, nobody may not even say anything, but I'm quite sure they get home, in their four walls and talk to somebody about why is he even on the roster. So, and then they don't get waived. They gonna waive me to keep him. I have more minutes than him, but they, So I think that I don't want that to happen either. I just don't think they should be on the same team. No, because Jalen Williams is going to still outshine, and his brother's going to be sitting in the background somewhere. Then, no, don't do it. Let him go somewhere else. I have a question. You mentioned point guard, adding maybe a veteran type point guard. Who would you consider?
Honestly, I don't even know who's available at point guard quite yet, but I was thinking more perimeter shooting in the Clay, in the Tobias, the Cam Johnsons. That's what you're going to get. But I just think, because I think Shea was out for a while for OKC this season, and their record showed it, right? So they just need somebody else to back him up. That's all. I know Gary Trent Jr. is available as well, but I don't think that he's going to be the one.
I hope that the stays young. I like the youngness, the camaraderie, and whoever comes in, I hope they are a great fit. If they bring anybody else for the next season, I hope they're a great fit, because whatever chemistry they have is so good to watch. Yeah. But Oklahoma City Thunder future is bright for sure. And I see them in the postseason next season. Do you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If they did nothing, they're still going to the postseason,
Yeah, but there'll be some other teams that can potentially upset the West, right? We still got to hold spot Memphis Grizzlies, because I know they're coming back, right? So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what the West shapes up to look like in 2025, considering those teams. And the Rockets, I'm quite sure they'll be much better this season.
And
next season than they would. This is what I'm saying. Ooh, the fight for 1 through 6 in the West is going to be really good. So